All right, how y'all are? Cajun Rob here with you and hanging out with my good buddy Brock. Hey, Brock, how you doing
Hello.
tonight, sir?
Hey, Rob.
All right, man. We've been waiting to have you on for a long time, man. You're always tuning in, and we appreciate you, man. Always tuning in, commenting in. So man, we appreciate you.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to
All
be
right,
here.
but for folks that might not be familiar with, I know you, man. You on a tear on the BFLs on top tens and checks. But anyway, kind of introduce yourself and kind of your background, how you got into fishing, and then how you got in the tournament. So if you want to start off with that, and
Yeah.
we'll let it roll.
My name is Brock Krohne. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. I'm a third generation Kansas Cityan, and I got a late start into tournament fishing. It was 2020 is when I got started. So just 5 years ago. And I got into my buddy John says, "Hey man, we got to go fishing. We got to do a tournament." And I did not know how deep that rabbit hole was. It
Yep.
was like I'm
Yeah.
all in. And this behemoth body like
Yep.
fit, it fit through the tube, and I've never looked back. Um, it's 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 an amazing group of individuals that surround this sport, and
Absolutely.
that's part of the fun. It's not always just the fish. It's the personalities and the characters that go with it.
Oh yeah. But me and some guys at work, we talk about that. Fishing's a big industry, but it's really a tight net at the same
It is.
time. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's usually amongst peers, people that know people, and
Yep.
everybody's very interconnected.
Absolutely. And it happens all the time. I would be talking work and say, "Oh, you know so and so? Oh yeah, It's like I was talking to one of the senior guys, and he stayed with Jeremy May for a while, and like fished the opens with him. I was like, "Oh heck, you're kidding." So it's a small world, man, in the fishing, but a lot of great folks, man. I mean, I still meet a lot of great folks, a lot of great connections, and definitely that's one thing good about this sport. There's always somebody to help you out. I've seen pros help. There's a I can't remember. I think I was in the FLW Open. I was just a marshal, and a young kid was having engine trouble, and like all the top pros was over there helping him late at night at the hotel. It was amazing, and that happens all the time.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if you're having any kind of an issue, whether except finding and catching fish,
Yep, yep.
everybody is going to collaborate and get you going.
Oh yeah,
If you need,
absolutely.
if
And
you need a prop, if you need a fuse, if you need a cord, for the transducer, like everybody's they're gonna do what they can to help. I mean, it's
oh,
amazing.
absolutely, absolutely. I know. I think it was the FLW tournament one time that guy got his boat broken to, and all his stuff got stole. Guys was giving rod and reels to fish the next day. I thought that was just awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Nobody's gonna get left out with this group for sure.
No, no, absolutely. But what was your I'd say you talked a little bit about your first. What was your first tournament like when you got into it? You're like, what I get into?
My very first tournament was in 2020. It was in September. It was a super tournament at Grand Lake,
Ah, yep,
and I drew a gentleman by the name of Randall Hudson.
yep,
And Randall just so happened to have won a Forest Wood Cup.
yep,
So he's an old timer that, kind of he was brought up during the Hibden era.
yeah,
And not the younger generation with Lawson and Peyton, but it was Dion's dad, and they,
yeah.
he fished against him, and we went all the way up, maybe as far as you can go in the spring in the Neosho River on Grand Lake,
Yeah.
and the water was not very high. So I was a little nervous. I mean, he had the pedal to the metal, and the experience was very apparent that he knew where he was, because he wasn't looking at his graph much. That
Oh wow.
bothered me. That
Yeah.
bothered me. Like, I mean, we were kind of inside the line, that
Yep.
you should be, the channel, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a little sketchy, and
Yep.
um, it was awesome. And he picked the day apart, and he didn't have a very good tournament,
Yeah.
but it was at the end of the day, he's like, sometimes you can know as much as you want about these green fish, but it doesn't translate to how your day was.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, that's right. Like, you can't let these fish make the decision on how you're going to feel at the end of the day, irregardless of whether you bring 5 in or none in.
Yep.
But
Oh,
throughout the day, whether you catch them or you don't, it's better to catch them. It's better to get a check and a trophy. But it doesn't work out that way very often, except for the high, like, there's a heightened group of guys, the 1%ers, that they can catch them wherever they go. And they're not going to catch 5, and probably they're going to be in a check line. Like, they're fishing nerds. They eat, breathe every moment from the time they wake up to go to bed. They're trying to trick a fish. And that's hard to compete against.
Oh yeah, I mean, them guys do some unreal time on the water. I mean, they put the work in. But yeah, talking about that, I mean, it's, and I've had guys, and my old team partner used to say, well, they don't read the same Bassmaster magazines we do. That was his famous saying. So that's spot on.
Yeah, I mean, in a general sense, so I've got to fish with, I don't know the actual number. I've been in the boat with a lot of, I'm going to call them masters. Like, they really know, they know the fishery in and out.
Yep.
They know what the fish are doing. They know what the fish are feeding on. They can often take themselves right to the winning group of fish.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, they're here. We just got to get them to bite. And sometimes it's a bite window. Sometimes you got to leave them.
Yep.
And there's so many lessons that you can hear about on YouTube. You can go out and you can definitely, the time on the water, that's good experience. But during a tournament, when you're watching a guy that is very focused on trying to catch the biggest bag out of the 100 or 150 or 200 boats, and he can't get it done, or he can, it's very exhilarating to be a part of that as you're going through your day, trying to get your own bag.
Oh yeah, it's good feeling. I had I think I was at South Holston. I had a little guy. He is actually a preacher in Tennessee, and a great guy, and just grizzled me. And he caught his personal best smallmouth, and I netted it. And he gave me a big bear hug, and I called my wife, or text my wife, says, "Hey, is getting a hug from preacher good luck? I hope so." So, yeah, like I had Swindle one time at a Bass Open down in Florida, and I said he jokes around and he's usually swim, but when he's fishing though, he gets quiet and serious. I understand that, and man, his first cast and his last cast was like just as accurate. That's what really impressed me.
And there was I'm not gonna name drop, okay?
Yep.
But I was with several people. I've been in the boat with several professionals.
Yep.
That are not on this list. I never heard their bait hit the water. Like they set it in there.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's no splash. There's no like they're in control of that thing. No matter if it's looped or underhanded or overhanded or double-handed. Even when they send it, they've got a way of presenting it. If they want it to splash, if they want it to make a noise, like they're doing that on purpose too.
Oh yeah.
And they're literally playing mental gymnastics as you're watching them, as they're watching you.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're doing an equation 98% of the day. And they're busy, right?
Oh yeah.
So sometimes there's not a lot of interaction when you're with a guy. And other times you're both catching them so quick you don't really you can't laugh hard enough. You're belly laughing.
Oh yeah.
So it goes both ways.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I've had some guys that talks all day. Some never says a word. I mean, everybody's different. But you got to get, as a co-angler, you got to get a feel of it first 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And you kind of adapt, you don't want to, guy's quiet. You don't want to talk his head off, he might throw you out of the boat, but no, I've never had a.
So that has been my motto, right?
Yeah.
So if I talk your head off, you can't pick me up. Like
Yep.
there's not a guy in fishing that can lift me up. So you can't throw me out.
Yep. But
I'm
yeah, I'm same way. I mean, I go in like the BFLs. We're a team. Hey man, you need something? You need me to net your fish? You need me to help you load your boat? Whatever you need, man, just let me know. So, but that's a good attitude to have.
That's one thing that I really wanted to share my experiences with is if I could say something to other co-anglers that would maybe spark a light
Yeah.
into helping them either advance to the boater side
Yep.
or just enjoy being a co.
Yeah.
So basically, when you show up in the morning after the phone call on Friday night, hey Rob, my name is Brock. I'm going to be your co-angler.
Yep.
And he says, good deal. I'll meet you at this point. When you're on that phone call, you kind of want to ask a million questions, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You're like, well, hey, are we fishing deep? Are we fishing shallow? Are we fishing muddy water? Are we fishing clear water? Are we going to go up
Yep.
the river? Are we going to go down the lake? I mean, you got a million questions.
Oh yeah.
But that's really not the time for it.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of reasons why. First of all, they don't know if you're on speakerphone,
Yeah.
not intentionally giving away anything, but you may be rooming with some people and they're doing something else. And he says, well, yeah, if he tells you, then it's just kind of out there. Well, and these guys are fishing for, on the BFL side, they're fishing for like $4,000 to $8,000 plus a $7,000 bonus from their boat sponsors, and then their all their other sponsors that they may get a little something. So it's about $15,000.
Yeah,
and they definitely don't want to tip their hand to the guy that they've never met.
Yep.
And you just meeting him over the phone and you draw with him and you're going fishing the next day. Yep. But after you get in the boat, at that point, you can start to ask a few more things.
Yeah.
Because you're in the boat with him. You're not going anywhere. Yeah. You're going to be with him all day. And then he can fill you in at that moment. But they may not feel comfortable if you don't have, if you haven't been around to just spill the beans to exactly what they're going to do the night before. Or if they do, they might not feel like being honest with you for those reasons as well. So that's kind of how those evening phone calls and the mornings go. Even though you want to ask right away, you probably should wait till you get in the boat before you ask those questions.
Yeah. But what's cool is if you get the same guy again, draw him a second time, you all kind of know your river strengths. Like, he's a shallow water guy or deep water. And it's a good feeling if you get the same guy again later on. Like, oh man, I'm glad I got you, man. I saw that text. I thought it was the old text, but man, I'm glad, that makes you feel good. Somebody's like, man, I'm glad I got you. I'm glad we're going to fish again. That makes you feel top of the world.
It does, for sure.
Yeah.
And, so there's other parts about being a co-angler too, that I'm going to say a few things tonight that are a little controversial.
Yep.
The day of a co-angler, when you get on that man's boat, I don't care what anybody says, you've affected his day.
Oh yeah.
And
good or bad.
And it's your job to make sure that the co-angler does exactly everything he can do to not pressure the guy up front, give him all the space that he deserves. And we'll get into that too, like why they deserve that space.
Yeah.
And for when he gets a fish and he's talking to you, go ahead and get the net, or no, I got him. Those moments of communication are very, very important.
Absolutely.
And if you don't listen, you could kind of detriment your day without knowing it.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. Like if this guy's fishing a tree in front of him and you decide that you're going to just start fishing it with him, the amount of fishing time you get throughout the day is probably going to get less and less and less. They don't want to feel that pressure back there.
No, no.
You know, they want to do their thing,
Yeah.
and rightfully so. And we can get into that right now too.
Oh yeah.
I don't think a lot of guys understand that. Besides, they purchased the boat. Okay,
Yep.
let's call it $35,000 for a used boat.
Yeah.
It could be upwards of $100,000, but
Oh yeah.
let's say it's a used boat and it's
Yep.
$35,000, and then he's got $10,000 in graphs and transducers, and then he's got he's got power poles, and then he's got brand new lithium batteries, and then he's still $50,000 to $60,000, and
Yep.
then you got trailer tires, and then you got the gas on the way there, the gas in the truck, the gas in the boat. The gas in the boat in the last 4 years, what we've paid for fuel is, I mean, there's not a lot of co-anglers that have ever put their credit card in the machine and filled up their boater's gas tank.
Yep.
And when you do that, you'll have a different feeling of what these guys go through just to practice for 2 days and then get in the tournament to fill it up again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So when you add this up, if the guy fishes one tournament with a $35,000 boat that ends up being 50, then he spends another $1,000, the $300 to get into the tournament, the $700 in fuel and lodging for 2 or 3 days at most.
Oh yeah.
They are $51,000 to $52,000 into their first tournament.
Yep.
And you throwing up there to a tree that he's fishing, or to the cover, or to the dock, or to the, it's a very, very, it's a no-no. It's a don't do it. This guy's got a lot invested into his day.
Oh, absolutely.
And it might not be your style, what he's doing, and it might not be something that you agree with. But that's not your decision. Right. Your decision is to stay in the back and fish. Yep. That's all you got to do is pay your money, show up, be courteous, and fish out of his way. That's all you got to do. Absolutely. And somehow we're managing to screw this up and bitch and complain that we got the short end of the stick because the guy's using the equipment that he's bought. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. And I've had some boaters that I didn't get anything all day, or I was having a tough day, and I did exactly what I was supposed to do. I keep all my stuff neat and organized. Every time he's ready, that's another thing. When boater's ready to take off, be ready. I'll usually have a inflatable that I'll leave on, and you're ready to go.
That's right.
Sometimes he'll say, "Hey, after this cast, we're gonna go so." So soon as he says that, go ahead, get your reel in, get your stuff set, get in the seat, so he's not waiting on you. And at the end of the day, and at the end of the day, I've had boaters say, even live scoping, it'd be like, hey, I'm gonna get in this cove and let you catch a few. There's always some in here. I mean, I've had a guy on a Toyota one time. He had a big bag. I mean, I've netted all his fish. He had like 24 pounds, and he went down this one little bank by a boat launch, and he missed a couple. And he come back through. He says, "Hey man, I'm probably not gonna be able to upgrade. Fish this bank real quick." He literally run the trolling motor and let me fish that bank.
Yeah,
that blew my mind.
And I can promise you that when you give these guys the space, it's going to go so much farther for your day than you can believe. That if you're trying to snipe a fish in their area that they're fishing, not to say that they might not turn around and fish something that they might throw back towards you, during the day, but that's still their water. That's not your water. It's still their water. And if that happens, you're best to reel it up and just change the side of the boat and, and fish out, in kind of the abyss.
Yeah.
But guess what? If he's using the forward facing sonar, you're around him. I mean, you're there. Yeah. So you've got to do some mental gymnastics of your own and figure out what's the depth, what are they hitting on? How fast is it? Are they hitting it on the fall? Are they hitting it right in front of their face? I mean, that's the part where you've got to lean on yourself to think, I've got to think, how's my boater doing it? And try and mimic that around
Yep.
him
Oh yeah.
without getting in his way.
Yeah. And a lot of times I've had boaters say, "Hey, I'm catching them 6 to 10 foot or 8 to 10." And they'll tell you. And like I
If
said,
you
they're
don't, yeah, if you don't put any pressure on these guys,
hmm,
the book goes from zipped to unzipped,
yep,
and their whole playbook. If they get to know you, they'll
yep,
invite you to the lake. So they'll say, "Hey, I'm going down a couple days early. Do you want to go?" And you're like,
yep.
yeah, I want to go.
Oh yeah,
And those are the kind of moments when you know, hey, I'm doing that right. I might
yeah,
not be catching a lot of fish. I don't have any first place trophies. You know,
yep.
um, but the one thing that I do know is I am a lot more tournament smart because of these guys that
Oh
they're
yeah,
flashing on the screen there. And
yep.
I've got stories about all of them.
Oh yeah.
And I'm pretty sure all but like, I don't know, there's a couple guys there that might not let me back in the boat, but
Yeah, everybody's different, we got a few comments here. I'm gonna run through real quick, and
for
a
sure.
couple you gonna recognize.
Hey, I'm gonna also there's a we definitely didn't get all the names that were on there. There was
Yep,
still there's a group of names, guys. If you didn't see them there, I promise I put you on the list, but there was a character maximum and we hit it. So I'm sorry
yep.
if you weren't on the list.
But you're on the list, believe me.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
there.
yep. And our old buddy Andrew Pulliam, that's one of our regulars. Hey Andrew,
Yeah.
hope all's
Hello,
well
Andrew.
down south. And a friend of mine and yours, Mr. Scott Knoll, said
There
big
he
old
is.
fish. Yep.
There he is.
Absolute hammer. One of the nicest guys you ever meet on the water.
Well, I
Scott's
don't
the
know.
real
Maybe
deal.
you and me have a different idea. Maybe how that might.
I heard that. And then my buddy Barkerugers from down in the bayou says you only have to worry if you're going slow enough to still have the boat in the water. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think I fished with a couple guys. They was flipping and pitching so quick. I don't know if their lure hit the water or not, but not long. And Sarah Shot says, "Awesome guy right there. There you go, man. You got a compliment."
Don't tell anybody. These are big secrets.
Okay, I won't say nothing. And Tanya Hutchow, I ain't gonna remember your name. Tanya H. Uh, yeah,
Hashowski.
yeah. There you go. I know I couldn't. All right, and Dave Ottman said, "What up? What's up, Brock?"
Hey, yeah, me and Dave met last year at Grand Lake, and what a guy! He makes a great chatterbait of his own.
Oh, cool.
Um, Contact Dave, and he makes a really nice bait for sure.
Absolutely, man. Look Dave up for sure. And then Tanya H says that's cool. And Sarah says respect goes a long way in the boat. I absolutely agree, 100%.
Sarah, she's like that part right there of just respecting what the guy's trying to do to win
Yeah.
is you can't fault a guy for trying to win.
No.
Like he's doing everything. He didn't spend $51,000 at the bare minimum to enter this tournament, so the co-angler would say, "Well, I got a crappy draw. This guy didn't know what he was doing," and we just, that's not why these guys enter. They enter it to
No.
go win. They're
Yep.
doing everything that they can do to win.
Yeah. Take
Um,
time off from work and spend up 3 or 4 or 5 days.
away from
Yeah.
their families in the crappy weather.
Yep.
Going through. There's a million things that happen throughout the week for those guys to be there,
Oh yeah.
and you're going to have amazing fishing days if you just give those guys all they're due that respect.
Oh yeah.
They don't need anybody behind them pushing them to try and move their bait or to try to snipe a fish that they're fishing for. It's not good ethics, and your fishing water will get slimmer and slimmer and slimmer and slimmer if you push it. If
Yeah.
not, just try it.
Oh yeah. Like I said, and give your boater respect, and they'll help you out anyway. I mean, I've had them offer me baits, and I've had some good times on the water. And then Tanya says, say it like sneeze. Huchowski. Huchowski. Okay, I got you. I
I
got you.
like
I
it.
got you. Hey, I learned something new tonight. So thanks, Tanya. And Sarah says, Alan Bernicky would be here, but he's working, so I popped in. Okay.
Yeah,
Alan's absolute hammer.
those two right there, man. They speak fish.
Oh, yeah.
They absolutely are around the water, and and not just the same body of water.
Yeah.
They're nationwide. I mean, I don't know if they're a West Coast group, but they fish 25 or 30 states, and they understand the water movement, the water color, the grasses, the rocks and the docks.
Chew.
Unbelievable
That is, man.
fishing powerhouse couple right there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But, and then one last one. Dave Ottman says, sleeping in a tent or truck at a state park. Yeah, I've done that.
Yes, I'm telling you right now, it's the way to go.
Oh, yeah. Done that quite a few times. but yeah, I mean it, and another thing that people don't realize being a co-angler, and if you're going to be a boater, you get the chance to ride in all these boats. You say, okay, I like this about this boat, I don't like this about this. You get to ride the boat all day, see how it's like and how it rides. You know, if it cuts corners or it kind of chops, so you get that advantage. You got you're almost on like a test drive every tournament.
Every tournament, you're in a different boat.
Yep.
And there are some older boats that are heavier, not as fast.
Yep.
But boy, do they ride good.
Oh yeah.
I know it's shocking, but I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about anybody's boat.
Mm.
But there are some boats that were built, in the 2000s and even a little earlier than that. They're just so dense. Yep. They take waves a little different than some of the newer boats.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know there's some. I'll go ahead and say it. Rangers from the '80s. I've rode in, and man, it rides like new. I mean, it's the old 361s. They're pretty spot on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing, and then you get to learn so many techniques too. Being a co, you can, if your boater's doing a technique you never saw before, you say, how do you doing that, or what are you using? And man, 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you, hey, I'm using a 7-foot rod and 20-pound fluoro. They'll tell you exactly, and you learn a lot that way.
Yeah, if you step back and I'll probably reiterate it at every moment.
Yep.
If you give that boater his deck and that water, he's going to show you exactly what he's doing. Yep. and more. And you're probably welcome to quiz him or ask him. And that it's kind of I've been given so many gifts from all these guys down there. And I promise you, there's a group that didn't get on there.
Oh yeah.
But they've all showed me, man, I mean, I'd like to share it with you, but they're not mine to share. Yep. And those are little nuggets that were for me, and I probably will never share them, maybe to a family member or to a nephew, but
yeah,
they were shown to me and not to be shown to YouTube to spoil,
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I said I've gave lures and baits to boaters, and they've gave them to me. But it end of the day, you're a team. Treat it like a team. You're our team for today.
For sure. Yeah, you're working together, but you're not trying to catch the same fish necessarily.
Exactly. I said always 9 times out of 10, I try to do something different to boater. If he's fishing top water, I might run something in the middle. I remember Mike Acanelli broke it down. You got top, middle, bottom. And if your boater's fishing top, fish bottom or middle. Kind of do something different. Or even if he's fishing on the bottom, fishing one technique, fish lighter, heavier. I mean, sometimes that little tweak will make a difference.
Well, I'm going to say that you're not wrong.
Yep.
But I'm not saying a word.
I'm trying to get some little tips in there. Yeah.
man, I promise you, like the guys that I've been able to fish with, some of these guys, I spend weeks at a time with them,
Yeah.
and they're good.
Oh yeah.
Like like they really figure it out at every tournament they go to. They're up there.
Yeah.
And when you get to witness it at what they do, or the change that they make during
Yep.
the day,
Yep.
they go out with a plan. They've got a milk run, and they're going to do something in the morning and change it in the afternoon, and then maybe go back over what they did. They're
Yeah.
going to have some kind of a plan. Well, when they make an audible because
Yep.
the morning did not go, or they got in a bad rotation,
Yeah.
to watch them figure it out on the water, you can't get this on YouTube. You
Mm.
can't get it from being in the tournament with a guy that just goes down the bank 2,000 yards at a time
Yeah.
because you're just fishing.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's a great guy to fish with in a tournament as a co-angler. A guy that's just going to go down the bank for 2,000 yards, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
just fish. That's great for a co-angler.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
But you may not learn a lot.
Yeah.
You may do well in that tournament because you're getting cast for cast kind of just because you're just fishing the bank. That's
Yep.
great. But you might not get the lesson that you would have got if you caught no fish and seen a guy make a change with hours left during the day, get a limit and get a check.
Oh
And
yeah.
then you go, what keyed you to do this?
Yeah.
He goes, well, I'm not going to tell you what they did, but
Yeah.
that's why everybody watching, you should try to go to Major League Fishing and become a co-angler
Oh
if
yeah.
you're not
Absolutely.
already, because first of all, you're going to have fun.
Yep.
You're going to meet some people in the industry that will probably invite you back on their boat.
Yep.
And you're going to learn so much about fishing, it's going to make your mind explode.
Oh yeah. Definitely. And these guys' time management blows my mind. I mean, you never see them look at their watch, but they know, okay, we got 2 minutes, we got to be rolling in. And you never see them, they like got an automatic timer, the ones that have been doing it a long time. They say, oh,
They're literally doing mental gymnastics from the
yeah,
time their boat number is called, and they put the hot foot to the floor. They don't stop.
no.
Like
It's like they got a in like a clock in their head. They already know.
a lot of them will forget to eat and forget to
Yep.
drink.
Oh yeah.
And that is one thing that this man doesn't do. I
Yeah.
don't forget to bring them snacks.
Oh yeah.
And then hoagie sandwiches and pizzas and we got candy and you got to have boat snacks, and you got to have, if you don't have boat snacks and you're not catching fish and everybody's hungry in the boat, that's a lot longer day. It's harder to pay attention.
Oh yeah. I was bad about that when I first started. But I got to where if I get aggravated, I'll sit down and beef jerky is my favorite snack. I have beef jerky in the water, and I'll freeze my water the night before and let it melt off, so it's always cold. But yeah, and it tip for me is like if I snag one or I have a fish get off and I get aggravated, I say, okay, time out. So I sit down, have a drink, eat something, get my energy. Okay, I'm better now.
You get it? Well, I mean,
Yep.
you don't think about it, but if you don't hydrate while you're on the water, like those are long days. You get to the boat ramp sometimes at 4:45. The closer you get to summer, it's really early, and they might let you go at 5:50 or 6 o'clock or 6:15. And you go to, if you're the last boat and you're in at 4 or 4:15 or 4:30, and you're not drinking, you're not having some liquids, it will affect you.
Oh yeah,
And
you cramp up. You'll cramp up.
yeah, you need some electrolytes and some water, and don't forget that stuff, because that's
Yeah.
a co-angler's friend, is a little
Yeah.
food and a little snack and a whole lot of liquid.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Tanya Huchowski, I think I said it right. She has a good point. That would be great. A couple years back, I helped unhook and hook boats for Bassmaster in Fort Worth. Yeah, now being a marshals, I've done that a few times. I think I did the FLW Cup for a couple of years, and it's neat because you just sit in the back of the boat and watch the guy, and usually you can ask questions. And um, I think I did Bassmaster way back 100 years ago, back 2000 when they had the Wrangler National Amateur Tournament in Knoxville. I did that for a couple of years, and went out as a marshal and helped them unhook boats, launch boats. But that's a lot of fun. But if you do a marshal, if you're unsure about being a co, go in as a marshal, and then you'll get kind of a behind the scenes, how the tournament works and how to weigh in. So that's never a good way to kind of get involved and see if that's something you want to get into.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, so I'm like a 50-year-old man, but essentially I'm just like a freshman in college if I was
Yep.
a high school fisherman, right? Because
Yep.
I've only been doing this 5 years.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys that are just now probably 19, 20, or 21, and they've only been doing it 5 years.
Yeah.
And some of these guys are winners on the biggest stage in the game.
Absolutely.
So the learning curve is different for everybody. And you kind
Absolutely.
of get out of this whatever you put into it.
Absolutely.
And if it's something that you just want to come do a few Saturdays a summer or a spring, that's great.
Yeah.
Or you can fish the whole series and try to go to the regionals or the nationals or the All-American. It's different for everybody. Everybody's got a different mentality of how they're going to approach it. And if you want to learn about fish, you're going to do it in this league.
Oh, yeah.
Major League Fishing Fiends. Yeah, you're going to learn it.
Absolutely. And Tanya says, I bring groceries when we fish tournaments. Yep, got to do that. And then she says, I make Alan and his boaters sandwiches. Happy boaters, happy fishing day. Great point. I've heard of people doing that. That's a good point.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then
Yep.
So what is, like, I've told you my superpower. My superpower is give the guy his water.
Yep.
And help him.
Yeah.
Fish, but help him. Oh, here's the other one too. Don't be afraid to break everything you get snagged off.
Yeah.
Just break it off. Just snap
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You're going to go in I'm talking about tournament day.
Yeah.
If you get snagged, now if you got a mega bass, you might say, hey,
yeah,
great story. I just had one come up. TJ Parks. He owns Arky Jig Lure Company. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
We were fishing Grand Lake last year, and we were fishing some stuff. And he says, Brock, I know you're throwing that mega bass jerk bait. He goes, I don't know that I would throw it in there. There's a sunken dock and a bunch of cables. He says, I'm telling you, there's just a lot of stuff in there. I was like, right on. In my head, he's done fishing it, and now he's passed by it. So now the back of the boat is facing all of this trash. It's not visible from the water. It's all under the water.
Yep.
I'm thinking, well, that's where the fish are hanging out. I'm gonna throw up there. I'm not, that's just my blood. So as soon as he tells me that, I sling it over there and I go, jerk, pause, jerk, snag.
Yeah.
And it's a 30. It's a $2 mega bass. There's other people watching this,
Yeah.
I don't really want to say how much these baits are, but
I know.
But I look over at TJ like a puppy dog. I said, hey, TJ. And he turns around. He says, what? I said, you're not going to believe this. He goes, are you snagged? I said,
Maybe.
Yep. He goes, give me a rod. I'll go get it. And I was like, you don't have to. I said, I'll break it off. He says, no, I'll get it.
Yeah.
He says, I knew you was going to get snagged if you threw, 3 treble hooks up in there. And I was like, I know you did, but
could resist.
I'm stubborn, right? I'm stubborn.
Yep.
So TJ noses his boat in there, and he, he can't get real close because there's cables, and he doesn't want to get the trolling motor into everything. But now it's something came loose, and it's just kind of barely out of the water, but he still can't get up right to it, and he's jiggling it, and then finally it goes, and it comes off, and I'm like, wow. Oh, thank goodness! As soon as it landed, a 3-pounder hits the mega bass. He reeled it in for his 4th fish.
Oh, hey.
So the moral of the story is your boat, if your boater is gracious enough to tell you, hey, don't throw in there. And he said,
Oh
don't
yeah.
do it.
Yep.
He's rewarded for doing an amazing thing after he said, don't do this. And he gets his fourth great fish for the day.
Yeah, I had a boater one time. I think on Cherokee, and there's a little bitty like a stream rolling in, and he threw his worm over there and went over a little bush, and he was shaking it, and his 3-pounder took it. He got hung, and he was trying to do that shake, and a 3-pounder took it off the limb and got him unstuck. That blew
Yeah,
my mind.
I mean, I've got so many stories, and I'm definitely not going to remember all of them.
Yeah,
But you know, every time you're out with at a new tournament, it's an adventure.
oh yeah, it is.
It's not just like it's not. Yeah, it's a bass tournament, but you're going to come back with so many stories and laughs.
Yep.
Unless you're back there just really worried about what the guy in the front of the boat's doing and what he's not doing, and he's going too fast or he's going
Yep.
too slow, or well, we're not close enough to the bank, or he's scoping everything. Like if that's your attitude, those days are going to be really long,
Oh, absolutely.
and you're not going to have fun.
No.
So your mentality should not be, what is he doing up front?
Yeah.
Or stylistically, how, if he doesn't fish how you want him to,
Yeah.
it's time for you to move to the front of the boat. It's time for you to get a boat and get up there and do it.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to find out the guy in the back, when you're doing it, he might not like what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're going to look back at him and you're not going to care either.
Absolutely. Yep. And there's another alternative to that also that I'm doing. I'm gonna try this year is kayak fishing. I'm doing the kayak tournaments this year, and I didn't know if I'd like it. I didn't know if I was balanced enough to do it. And a local lake rents them out, and I said, well, I'm gonna take this out 2 hours or half a day, and man, I had a blast. I mean, and it's funny. You take a kayak out, I always come back with more lures when I start because there's lures in the trees they can't get to, and the kayak can, and stuff at the bank. But it's really fun. So if you're a high schooler or guy just starting out and can't afford a boat, man, get a kayak. It's so much fun. I mean, just little lakes and ponds is perfect.
It is. Now you're gonna have to do your own learning.
Oh, I know.
You're not gonna. No. I'm talking to the youngster.
Yeah. Yep.
They're not. You're not gonna have anybody take you under your wing and explain some very important nuances about hook girth and your hook sets. Yep. And I mean, there's so many things to learn other than just going fishing, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And the science behind all the line.
Yep.
And and your lures and
when, where, and how. When, where, and how,
and how, and the water clarity and the sky and the weather and
changing conditions.
Yeah,
happens every tournament day.
Those lessons, and this last week, man, we did everything right, but hindsight, we did everything wrong.
Yeah.
And I was with a guy that is an absolute hammer down there. Absolute hammer. And he struggled as bad as he caught 3 short. And I think he weighed 1 in. One hit 14. And I caught just 1 short fish all day, but it was tough. The fishing was tough. Like you couldn't, we were around them. I mean, we saw several 26, 27, 28 pound bags, and we just couldn't entice the fish correctly.
And like you said, a lot of times it's timing. They may not feed now, but they might feed at 2 in the afternoon or 3. It'll be like a switch. They'll turn on. So sometimes you don't know.
And I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna highlight some of these names and send you a different batch.
Okay, I'll change it around. I can do that.
Give me 2 seconds here.
All right. Yeah, I didn't know it has 1,000 character limit. I did not know
That's all right.
that. I learned, but
I
yeah,
think we got most of them. We did good. We got
yeah,
most.
yeah. I think you got 80-90% of them. I'm pretty sure.
There, I think that's where it ended.
Yep. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I can change that up real quick. No problem.
Yeah, I mean, I've Joel Baker. He's an old Bassmaster guy. Wild Bill Hudson from
Yep.
he's from Alaska, man.
Wow.
He also has probably been a co-angler for 15 or 20 years. Andy's a boater. He does both.
Yep.
And he is a wealth of knowledge on those Oklahoma lakes. I
Oh
mean,
man.
Ben Burke and Ron Shaw and Chase Washburn. There's so many guys that, I've got to fish with it. You always get a nugget, and you just can't.
Every time. Yeah.
Yes. And it's so exciting and you're so grateful to, for what they've showed you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. There we go. Let's see. I think I got her. One more step here. That's weird. It cut off the last one. Let me fix that real quick. But yeah, I mean, you learn so much. Every time I go out, I learn. Even I've done it since 2017, and I'm still learning stuff. I mean, it's constant process. Absolutely.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm very competitive.
Yep.
I want to win, but there's only one guy that can. And so, as a matter of fact, here's the part that I hate the most. Like, so you zero in the tournament, right? You catch nothing.
Yep.
And then you're driving home and, your wife, I didn't catch any fish. I'm a horrible fisherman. I can't catch any fish. Right? And then an hour and a half later, the tournament's over. You're finally over it.
Yep.
And then you get a text from Major League Fishing. It says, Brock Krohne, here's your rank. You are the worst fisherman in Oklahoma. You please just don't come back because you just can't catch them, man.
Oh man.
No, you get your rank and you get what place you're in and how many points that you got, and you're like, I was just over it. And then you sent me the text and it reminded me how bad I am.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It happens, man. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, and like I said, and sometimes you jump up in points. I know I had one. I think I had a super tournament. Tough day. It was cold, and I think I had one fish. It was like 12 and a half, and I was 46 in points, and I made the jump to 45th on that one fish.
Yes.
So I didn't win the battle, but I was still in the war.
Well, last year, the same thing happened to me. I was in like 62nd place going into the last tournament. I had a friend of mine, Caleb Spinks. He said, Brock, he says, I'm going to be down there. He says, did you want to practice? I said, yes, please, by all means, let's go do it.
Yep.
And he showed me the cricket that he was using.
Yep.
And he's from the area, right? Well, guess what? I caught one little 12-inch fish. It hit the line. It's like 12 and a quarter, right?
Yep. Flip him over and
and he touches the line.
Yep.
It brought me in to be able to make the regional.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a good day.
Yeah, like, and if you didn't have a guy invite you up to pre-fish for a couple of days, you don't go to the regional. Like you're 70th, 80th place, and you didn't catch any fish. I fished with a couple of guys that week. It wasn't just Caleb, but I think the others, they knew who they are,
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you'll remember, guys like that, it seemed like you remember the guys on the tougher days and you do the good days a lot of times. It's like, oh yeah, I fished with him and man, we had one fish each that day or something. And talking about being positive, how many times have you showed up at a tournament and it's raining, it's 39 degrees, half the field's already belly aching. Oh, we shouldn't be here today. And it, like Rick Clunn said that, he says, or Danny Breyer, he says, yeah, them guys that show up complain about being there, they've already took themselves out of the tournament. So half the field just eliminated themselves.
Yeah, and believe me, I'm built like a seal. So the colder that it is, the better it is for me.
Yep.
Because there's other guys that may sit down for 30 minutes or 45 minutes just trying to warm up.
Oh yeah. And it seems like I do better on the tougher tournaments. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just hard headed, but it seems like, or maybe I'm just positive. You know what? Somebody's got to catch them today. Might as
Yeah.
well be me.
Yeah.
And you notice too, like what I was telling you, I finished fifth on that first BFL. I come back, started fishing. I landed, like, it's your day when every bite you get to the boat and put in live oil. And then the next tournament you might get 1 out of 5. But see, like, there's one day everything goes right, and every bite you get to the boat. And then the
Yeah.
next tournament you have same lure, same conditions, and it's 1 or 2 out of 5. So it happens.
Yeah. There's just not too many sports and competitions where you meet on a Friday night. You're from another part of the country, because
Yep.
you can go anywhere in this country on a Saturday from January to mid-June, first part of July, and then go north for a couple months, then come back down here, and you can get in a tournament just about everywhere in the country in the central United States. And if you're willing to just try, and people see that, they're gonna put their wing around you and be like, you sure you need that 8-foot rod?
Yeah.
Like, are you sure you need 30-pound test line for that? They'll ask you and be, and you'll be like, am I doing it wrong? And they'll be like, I think maybe you could make some adjustments, and that's your clue, or you were doing it wrong.
Yeah. Or they tell you to use the KISS method, keep it simple. I see so many young kids, like, I'll be in line, to launch out, and there'll be some kid as a co-angler, and he's got 12 rods, and they're like this already. I'm like, that poor guy's going to be entangling rods all day.
Yeah.
I mean, I do 3 to 5. 5 is my max.
Well, here's my other tip for all the co-anglers. If you're untangling rods in the back of the boat, that's good, because that means that you're keeping the hooks at the end of the rod. And when you set them down, they're nowhere near that man's boat seat.
Yeah.
So it is a pain that you're untangling, because when you take a boat ride, they just bounce and jiggle. And you just don't want to put that, that hook up by the eye and then set that up by the seat. Leave them hooks at the end of the rod.
Yep.
And
or if you got a lure wrap, I use the lure wraps a lot of times.
I use lure wraps too, but it's better to untangle than have to explain to the man how you got a hook in his seat, or 2 treble hooks in his brand new, Icon $125,000 boat seat.
Oh yeah. Only thing worse than that, if you break out the dip and die, and your boater's eyes goes. Either I'll use the pins, or if I do have to bring one, I have it like in 2 or 3 bags, and I hold it outside the boat and dip it in and shake it.
I've spilt it.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Yeah.
I've also broke a man's rod.
Oh man.
Yeah, let me tell you that story.
Okay.
So I'm with Chris M. Jones.
Yep.
I'm so excited to be in the boat with him, because I know what kind of lesson that I'm going to get.
Oh yeah.
We're 10 minutes into our spot, and he's already made like 11 casts. Yep. And his lure is going and then falls in. But he had, like, he's hung on something. I'm like, man, I don't see any brush, and I can see his screen, and I know there's nothing. He got a dock rope that he didn't see.
Yeah.
He goes, hey man, come up here and hold this rod for me. I said, okay. So he set it down. I walk up there and grab the rod, and I lift it up. It was underneath, like a part of the, like, just a lip of the trolling motor, and I lifted it up and I cracked it.
Oh man.
10 minutes into the tournament, and I'm thinking to myself, like, are you kidding? Like, did this just really happen? And I'm apologizing. I'm doing somersaults, going, man, I'm so sorry. I'm embarrassed beyond anything. I'm embarrassed. I said, man, I'll pay for your rods. And he's like, man, he says, look, we're good. He says, I just need to get back to fishing. So he grabs the rod. He takes the reel off. He gets in his locker. He puts the old one up. He gets a new one out, takes the reel off of that one.
Yep.
And within 3 minutes, he's hooked up. He ties his cricket on.
Yep.
He's back to fishing.
Yep.
I still feel this big all
Yep.
day. He was
Yep.
over it the minute that it cracked.
Yep.
Not the minute that I apologized or told him. I even think it was his wife's birthday that day too.
Oh man.
And he goes, he's like, man, I got to take my wife out to eat and everything. I'm like, man, he's like, I'm so sorry. He says, man, it's fine. It's good.
Yep.
But I just wanted to say that you're going to have things that don't go right.
Oh yeah, you are.
You're going to screw up.
Yep.
And those are those moments where, you can say, well, I'm never going to do that again. I'm not going to go back. I can't show my face. I'm so embarrassed. Or you can just apologize and we had a great day together.
Yep.
I mean, it was like, so I'm going to give you all a nugget. No, I can't. That's his nugget. No, I can't do it. But we were fishing a way that I didn't think you could fish in the conditions that we were at. I was like, can you explain to me? And this was after I broke his rod. I'm still probing him and, like a question an hour, not like, like
rapid fire. Rapid fire. Yeah.
Just a few questions here and there. And he says, well, this is where they're going to come to eat. And I was like, huh. Midday, he catches a monster. Wow. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I net that one for him and we got it in the boat. So I didn't break his rod and knock the fish off. So, it'll balance out.
It does. But, and then another thing happens occasionally, and I think I had it happen like 2 or 3 times in Mountain Division, is my boater had a motor problem, or one of my boaters hit a log, it was submerged, and it did hurt the motor. Well, it knocked the little connector that holds the throttle to the motor. So we'd have to stop every mile, and he'd like retape it. It's just like stuff like, and the biggest thing I can tell you is stuff like that's going to happen. It's not the boater's fault, not your fault. Stay positive. Stay positive.
I just seen Billy Davis flash underneath there. I met Billy in Dardanelle, Arkansas, and I show up at the boat ramp, and he says, "Man," he's like, "I don't know how to tell you this, but he says my engine, I sucked up some sand in the impeller last night, and I'm having trouble with it. I can't get it going."
Yep.
He's like, "So we're gonna have to run off the trolling motor." I said, "Great, let's go fish."
Yeah,
he's like, man, I'm sorry. He was apologetic and he was sorry, and I'm like, man, things happen. Like it's not always going to be perfect. It's not going to be you're not going to go out and you're going to catch 5, and your boater's going to catch 5, and you're both going to win. But you're going to probably get a really good friend by the end of the day if you have a good attitude. You try, you don't quit, you're having fun, you're trying to help the guy up front. And you'll have some adventures.
Oh yeah, I had it happen in Cumberland. I think the last FLW Cup at Cumberland had co-anglers. I knew it was going to be the last year. I said, I'm going to jump into this one. It's my last chance. And I had a guy from Texas, and his Evinrude, I think, blew up. Something happened to it. And he's like, this little creek to the left. He's like, well, I guess I'm fishing this creek. Never fished it in my life. And I said, I ain't either. And we went back there, and he caught 5 nice ones. I caught 2 or 3 nice ones, and so I had to have somebody come pick me up and take his fish to weigh in. He had one of the high schoolers, weighed in, but it's kind of because he had a big dually, and there's this little road. I had to get to that little marina across where he broke down, and man, it was tight, and I was nervous because there's big boats coming every way, with trailers, and made it there, but we still laugh. I still talk to him here and there, and we still laugh about it. But yeah.
Like it's the only sport in the entire world, and I was getting to this earlier, where you meet a guy on Friday night, and then in the morning, you hand him your keys, your wallet, and your phone. He hands you the keys to his truck and his boat. Yep. See you later.
Yeah. Pretty much. Total stranger. Total stranger.
You don't know who this guy is.
Oh yeah.
And then you're driving off in his truck, and he's got your keys, wallet, and phone, and all your tackle and all your rods, and it's a special group of guys for sure.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you're both buddies. You both like see each other
Yeah,
at tournaments, and like I have some I still talk to every once in a while, and text back or message back. So you go from a stranger, like I said, on Friday night, never met you before in my life, and then by Friday afternoon, you're telling jokes and laughing how the day went, and you got yourself a new buddy
that's right. And
within 24 hours.
you might not see each other for a year, 2 years, six
Yep.
months, 4 months, and you're in the same tournaments.
Yeah.
You're just, you catch each other in passing, or maybe on Facebook, or you might send each other a message, but you catch right up, as soon as you do.
Oh yeah.
The time that passes doesn't matter. And
No.
sometimes, I've got some guys that I lean on. I don't phone fish a lot.
Yeah.
But if I go somewhere that I've never been,
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to say, I'm a Cohen. What should I put in my box? I'm not asking you where to go or how to fish.
No,
but
no.
You can't use what works here at Truman Lake and take it to Table Rock and expect to win or even compete. You've got to have kind of an idea of where you're going to fish and how it fishes. So it's okay to get some advice and some people to make you better along the way.
Oh, absolutely. And I said, and just color. I mean, there'll be some local colors that you don't know, but they may know. It might be pink purple dot or something. But they'll know the color. Say, hey, try this color.
I know for sure that you know that because of the industry that you're in.
Yep.
And you probably have so many secrets up here that come from very specific parts of the country. Probably a lot of special run colors that aren't even available to most of the public.
Yep. Yeah, because I got stores in Texas and California, and what's biting in California don't work in Texas, but it's some specific stuff. I mean, I can see what the shops are like buying, and like they'll have all one color, like one type of lure, and it's like, oh, well, it's working over there.
That's right. And until you've experienced it, you can't. Here, I'll give you my experience. So I was day 3, 2022, La Crosse, Wisconsin regional.
Yep.
And my boater, he's got a limit in 35 minutes. Before the day starts, he says, you cast wherever you want. He's like, this is important to you as it is me. He says, we're fishing for the same fish. He's like, I'll show you what I'm using. And I grabbed the exact same replica in my box that he was using.
Oh, wow.
And we go fish. He's got a limit in 35 minutes, and I don't.
Yep.
And I said, what? I said, I'm watching your cadence. I said, I'm right on time. I know our bills are the same. I said, can I see your bait one more time? Sure. He's got a yellow chartreuse belly, and mine didn't.
Yep.
And up there, I think they've got some of the perch that are, the yellow perch, right?
Yeah, right.
So I took my little yellow marker and marked the belly. I got bit the next cast.
Yeah.
I was one of these guys that would have told you color doesn't so much matter as long as you're fishing around the fish.
Yeah.
There's a story of my own.
Yeah.
To share with the world that you can be around them and you can be doing what you think is right, but there's something that's wrong.
Yeah.
And that is why these guys up top are so good.
Yeah.
Because they know those nuances.
Oh yeah. And just little.
It's little. Maybe it's the fall rate or the color or the girth of the hook or the size of the line or the color of the line. I mean, these guys they're not good by accident.
Oh yeah. No, they got the experience, and I said it's a cliche, but time on the water makes a difference.
Makes a difference. And they figure it out in what for them is maybe like 45 minutes, where it might take another angler all day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or it may have cost him his tournament. And hindsight, he'll be like, you know what I didn't do?
Yep.
And, and then he's walking around thinking, I practiced for 3 days and and I was doing it right, but I was doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you're like, but
or they figure it out in the last hour, and they're like, man, if I would have did this all day. I've seen that happen a lot.
Yes. Yeah, those, and to experience that as a co-angler over and over and over and over, you're able to it doesn't mean that you're going to catch more fish, but your percentages keep going up.
Yeah.
You just, like, your base knowledge just keeps getting higher to, I've seen this before. I know what these fish are doing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the tournament, when somebody says, "Oh, I caught him cranking," you're like, I don't know if he really caught him.
Yeah.
I saw him out there, and I don't think he was throwing a jig, But, and I get it. They spend so much time that they don't want to, they're kind of forced to maybe not to omit or maybe not be full disclosure of how they caught them. And that's okay. It's not shady. Like, no. It's just, it's a courtesy that you probably shouldn't even ask.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a couple comments going to run through here quick. Miss Tanya says, got me a Hobie kayak so I can fish some kayak tournaments. Man, I said, I've had a lot of fun on mine. I just had mine since summer. But he says, Margaret Ruger says, Rob, funny you say that. My tourney partner and I prefer fishing the absolute worst weather. We figure we can stick it out better than most. Yeah, absolutely. Got to be prepared. Oh, there he is. There's the hammer himself. Alan Bernicki. Hey, buddy. Hope to see you out there soon.
Hello, Alan. Yeah. He can talk to him for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you always see him in the top 10, top 12. I mean, he's always in the top, man. That guy.
If you do the math on his, it's amazing. His stats are amazing.
Yep.
And I've still yet to spend a day on the water. He's invited me down. He says, Brock, come. You just call me. He says, we'll go fish. I'm going to take him up on it this year. And he's going to be like, he's going to be sorry he did, because his boat's normally positioned like this, but after I get in it, like, he'll be riding like this all day long.
And Tanya has a good point. Fish 17 degrees, sleeting with winds at 30. It sucked, but we showed up. Yeah, I've been there, done that.
I've done that.
It's not fun.
I've done it and wrecked them.
Yep.
Absolutely caught them.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Brian Tracy down on Table Rock Lake. It was snowing. It was sleet, thunder, snowing for 5 hours. And we had a tournament, and he was practicing, but everywhere we went, we wrecked him. We couldn't help but catch him. It was awesome.
Yep.
It was awesome.
Can't beat that. Yeah, game beats that. That happens that way. I mean, you just got to keep your, like I said, keep your lure wet and just keep grinding away. I mean, a lot of these tournaments are grinder tournaments anymore. Bite's tough. You just got to keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
But funny you say that about a boat. I was at a regional at Eufaula last year, or maybe year before last, but had a young boater, day 2. And the first day, I had a weird day. I bruised my ribs and I was sore. And we make a long run. The day 1 was real rough. Day 2, we get way down to and he catches a nice one, catches 4 on a Carolina rig. And he says, all right, let's move. And I'm looking at the boat going, hey, is your boat always set low in the back? He's like, no, not really. Open the back compartment and the water's up to the batteries. Turns the bilge on, nothing. So he says, I know where the bilge, I can hot wire. So he hot wires it, starts working. But go to the next one, stops working. Only thing he had in the boat, he had one of those boat bumpers, the big long football looking thing. Only thing he had in his boat, and the guy found it and threw it in his boat. We cut that thing half every time we stopped. We was hand bilging out. We had so many boats come by and say, "Y'all okay?" Yeah, we okay. But I think what found it is Jack. He had an older boat, and jack plate bolts kind of rounded out, and a little water was coming in. So, but we still made it. We made it the way in. I had some fish. He had some fish. We still laugh about it. Had a good time, but. It happens.
I'm no stranger to sinking boats. I've been in 3 of them that have sank.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's a story for a different time.
Yep.
But yeah, like it happens. It happens more often than you think.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Roy Butler, by the way, for saving our butts. He came out with a fire extinguisher. Our boat was on fire.
Oh heck.
Yeah, yeah. That's a
Woo.
story. It's a story for another day, but
Yep.
we will get to it. And it's frightening.
Ooh,
We
that is
we
scary
just
stuff.
we just put 50 gallons of fuel in that thing.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah,
Whew, scary stuff, man.
scary stuff is right. I mean,
But
I'm not here by accident. I got angels around me.
oh yeah.
I'm
And
here
and
for
we
a reason. I'm not quite sure yet, but one day it will be revealed.
oh yeah. Yeah, I've done drag races and motorcycles. I keep mine busy.
Yeah.
Literally,
Yes,
but
sir.
but uh but yeah, what like we was talking earlier, some of your most memorable is like the tournaments you zero, but you like learn a lot more stuff. I've had that happen quite a few times. And
There's
then you
there's
use that experience for another one and you have better success.
yeah, I mean um sometimes it's detrimental because
Yep.
you fished it so many times and you expect that you kind of already have an idea, like you've got a water temperature, you've got the
Yep.
weather that you want, and
Yep.
the guy's fishing kind of like how you would want, and you
Yep.
get excited. You're like, man, we're probably going to do really good today. And
Yep.
then you come in and I don't know, we've got a human element that we're not we're close, but we didn't
Yep.
get something right.
Yep.
And
Or we're creatures of habit a lot of
yes,
times.
yeah. You think just because you've caught them in the past, or they're going to be on this bank, they were there yesterday. We left them biting. I can't tell you
Yeah.
how many times I've come home and told my wife, be like, "Oh, we're on them. Like
Yep.
we've left them biting. He's going to have a good tournament. I've got a good idea what the fish are doing. My boaters hopefully fishing the same similar watercolor."
Yep.
And then you go out the next day and these fish give you such a big piece of humble pie, it will
Yeah.
choke you.
Oh yeah. Every time. That's funny, man. I've been there, done that, man. I feel you pain on that.
Yeah.
It will. I mean, you'll get, or if you're day one, your boater's fishing shallow, and you're, oh man, I'm ready to fish shallow tomorrow, and then day two guys fishing 60, 80 foot.
Yes.
But you got to adjust. Just got to adjust.
Yeah. Or if anything, go fish your strength, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So I think if, there's a lot of guys that they're so good, they're willing to try new stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like during practice, they say, "Hey, I'm going to be out there. Do you want to come?" Sure. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He says, "I don't know. This is something new for me, And
Yeah.
you're like, "I like that." You're like, "I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
you might be onto something." And you do it for 2 or 3 days. You're like, "No, that wasn't it."
But you eliminated it. You eliminated it.
That's right. No, I mean, those are it's fun trying too, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, even if you're wrong, it's okay.
Yeah. At least you tried. And like during tournament, you say, "Well, I know that ain't gonna work because I done tried it." So
Right. That's correct.
or like you do, like the pros say on water. I eliminated unproductive water.
That's right.
So it's all process. All process.
What's your superpower when you're out there on the water? Like, what is your? I'm not asking you what bait. I'm just like,
Yep.
what is your? What's your superpower back there when the guy is fishing and you're struggling?
I think I had one of my buddies tell me this. He says, "Man, you're always positive. I always like to encourage my boater. Hey, man, we're going to get them next. We'll go to this next cove. We're going to get them. But just kind of being a positive. If your boater's having a tough day, hey, coach him up. Say, hey, man, we're going to get this. Don't worry about it. We got this. When stuff goes wrong or something goes wrong, I mean, just always be positive and try to, instill that in your boater. If he's having a bad day, he says, oh man, we're out here fishing and we're not working, that kind of deal. But just being positive and trying to, keep your boater positive, even though if it's bad conditions or something tears up, it happens, man. We're still fishing out here.
We should go out with a camera crew and have what not to do in the back of the boat. And then like you're standing there with the net and he's getting ready to land a 5-pounder. It comes off and you go, well, that's no good. What'd you do that for? And then you put the net on the front of the deck and you walk back to the back. Like, way to go, loser. Like, why'd you let it go?
Yeah. And I've had some boaters, let's say I had one I had a spinner bait and it was a tough day and had a nice 2-3 pounder. And I had a spinner bait like come over a limb and I saw the fish coming, sharking. And I was like, oh, it's like slow motion. And, he gets it, give me the boat. And I say, hey, man, get the net. And he's got a Phoenix now. It's got the net slot. And he says, well, I don't have a net. And by the time, I'm trying to get the fish in, I'm easing him around and beep, spinner bait comes up. I'm like, oh, man.
Oh, no.
So I just kept on fishing.
That's all you can do.
Yeah, I mean, things happen. I had a boater one time, and he literally had about 22, 23 pounds. And he told me, he says, hey, man, you done good. You've been positive all day, netted my fish. And he says, last 30 minutes, I'm going to stop this cove. It's always got spots or keepers. We're going to stop and let you fish a little while shallow. I was like, hey, cool. Well, we go to crank up. Of course, the motor's dead. Battery's dead. And he said, don't worry. We can move it over to the other battery. Well, we do that. And I get these new Mercuries. You got to have this one lead on the battery. He didn't put on there, so it didn't crank. So we missed way in. Dude never got mad. Never threw nothing. And he said, my buddy, he just texted me. He had 20 pounds. He won it. So he was like, cool as he could be. And what was so cool about it, so we finally figured it out. We got it to crank, and we're just kind of island back. And this beautiful bald eagle flies like 5 footer over our heads. And we was just both speechless.
Yeah.
But it was like just the coolest thing, But the guy never cussed, never threw anything. And I was like, man, I might have said a word or two, but he was cool as I am. But it's pretty cool. I still see him, and we kind of laugh about it. So, but yeah, I mean, if something happens, stuff happens. Just say, yeah,
it's not meant to be. There's nothing you can do.
No. Like, I mean, you can get spun out. Your boat will get spun out, and you say, hey, man, it's cool. We'll make it back. So it happens. But there's buddy John checking in.
Hey, buddy, you get feeling better. Get well soon.
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. We're praying for you, brother. I hope you're doing all right. But, yeah, I mean, like I said, we just a few tournaments actually we fished. Man, we got a lifetime of stories and, memories. It's amazing. Even bad as my memory is, I can remember them.
Yeah. There's like all these guys that have been flashing underneath the screen there.
Yep.
I mean, I've spent at least 9 hours with the guy.
Yeah.
30 minutes in the morning,
8
hours during the day, and 30 minutes putting their stuff up. You shake your hand on the way, on the way out. And every single, and just because their name's up here doesn't mean I've only fished with them one time. Some of these guys we fished with for weeks at a time.
Yeah.
And you have, just so much like camaraderie because we're all kind of nerds about these little green fish. And that's a commonality it's very weird.
Yeah. But there's a bond with all of us. Yeah.
But the adventure that you get is worth the price of admission. So go fishing. Get outdoors and go fishing.
And another thing you're talking about the sport being different than anything. I mean, you can have a kid 12, 15 to 17, guys our age, and even I've seen 70, 80-year-old guys out here fishing. So, I mean, it don't discriminate.
It doesn't matter what age you start to learn or if you've never done it and you don't know if you'd like it, come do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Try it. Yeah. Excuse me. Absolutely, man. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. And man, you make lifetime friends. I got, buddies I fished with 5 years ago. I still stay in touch with. So, but John says, appreciate y'all. And we'll watch the entire show tomorrow, man. There's a lot of juice, man. You'll deftly bring your notebook.
John, right here, not a professional angler. Don't rewatch this. You're not going to learn anything, buddy. I promise you.
Hey, not a professional here either.
Not a professional angler.
I just stayed at the Holiday Inn Express. That's all.
Now, I'm not saying that I haven't had some W-2s, right, every year. Yep. I mean, it kind of makes you a professional angler, but not in the sense of,
Yeah.
I'm not.
But it's all good.
I'm not good, but I do love the adventure.
Yeah, and we've had $1 million worth of fun.
For sure.
There ain't no doubt.
Every time. Well, I got some receipts from the bait shops that you probably sell to
Yep.
that says that I'm having at least that much fun.
Hey, I thank you for your purchase.
That's right. That's right. And I see the little Pitman tags behind there, so I know it's all your fault.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's
I,
the
yep.
merchandiser's fault.
Oh, I know. But it's funny because I went to the diabetic doctor every day, and yep, there you go. I went to the diabetic doctor, my wife's doctor, and first time, and she was saying, "Hey, what do you eat for snacks?" I said, "Well, I've cut out all the chips and snacks." And said, "What'd you do before?" And I said, "I ate cupcakes," and I said, "My wife bought them." And the next time my wife went to the doctor, she says, "You're an enabler." She told my wife that. I like to die. But yeah, it's amazing, man. Stuff coming out constantly. I mean, it's hard to track trends. Like our owner said 5, 6 years ago, he had never thought he couldn't hardly sell a minnow and a jig head. Now he can't
Right.
keep them in stock. So I mean,
Right.
trends it's fast moving. So.
Well, like to look at, I don't care what business it is.
Yep.
To try and forecast any length of any lead time to get it, any lead time to get it to your customers.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it's hard. I don't care what business you're in, and that's why it's work, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough. It's not easy.
Yep. I mean, I try to keep eye on what's selling this month, and like I said, I'll talk to some guys and say, hey, this is selling, this is top selling. I try to keep them. If they want to add a little bit, or they'll usually ask me, hey, what's been selling the last couple of weeks, and but we do a pretty good job. We can pull a report like the top 50 baits in one state or top 100, so that helps. Guy trying to restock, and he gives him new ideas. So, but it's two-way street.
But
help
still,
each other out.
To forecast it, and
yeah,
like nobody wants to say happy birthday to this stuff, right?
Oh,
they want to get it in and get it gone, and then reorder. I mean,
oh yeah,
that's what we all want to do is, get it in and get it gone. But you just have some ebbs and flows, and it's forever changing. And we're at a time right now where, man, it's an exciting. Everybody says it's a bad time for fishing because of all the change. I think it's been the most exciting it's been since 2019 when it all got kind of shook up.
Yeah.
Because the not knowing is trying to make it better.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's nobody behind any one of these companies that says, I wonder how we can screw this up. Like I'm going to see if I can make that co-angler have a horrible day. Like nobody's doing that. They're trying to make it better for the viewer. They're trying to make it better for the fishermen. They're trying to make it better for the vendors and for, for everybody involved. But it's so easy for the general public. Just, this sucks. This is crap. You should never, that's easy. We're all guilty of it at some point or another. I'm guilty of it. I've done it. But there are, we're human. We have feelings and emotions, and sometimes they come out at the wrong times. Sometimes it's the same people that are doing it over and over and over. And, they're creating issues that aren't even issues.
Yeah. But talking about equipment, rods has grown in quality drastically. Over the last 10 years, I mean, used to that's some low end, but like everything rod wise has jumped up. I don't care if it's the bottom brand to the top. Everybody's moved their game up. So hats off to the rod manufacturers.
Well, so when the braid came out and the eyes, they would dig, right? They would create havoc on guys breaking off fish because they'd set the hook and they'd be using either mono or like fluoro, and they would realize at some point that their braid has scarred their. And I don't. Is it zirconium or there's some kind of there's some kind of metal that doesn't really allow some of those to chew into it like they used to. So you're right. Like everybody has gotten better, and even the hook manufacturers have all with the it's called
super line and
no chemical sharpening.
oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's a giant secret. Like I don't think there's like 3 people in the entire world that know how to do this crap.
yep.
And it's awesome though, because
Oh
they're
yeah,
all pretty good. Like you
yeah.
can't like you're not they're better than what they used to be, is what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely, and they don't dull as quick as they used to be. I noticed that. Even on crankbaits, like crankbaits, you have to change the trebles out every
Yep.
couple of 2-3 hours. But now you can almost go all day, almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's some neat technology, and there's a bunch of stuff behind the scenes we don't know about. And but like pure fishing, some of the big ones, I mean, they have guys and gals. That's all they do is their job to make better, and it's getting better. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, I know I'm guilty of being when I become a fan and a customer of a
Yep.
product,
Hmm.
it's probably for life, because
Oh yeah.
those products, they're so consistent.
Yep.
You go into it and you're like, this is what I want. I want a number 5 Gamakatsu or a Trocar or
Yep.
I use I use a specialized hook,
Yep.
and I I don't I don't want to tell other people what they should like,
Right.
because that kind of gets those personal experiences make it good for you.
Oh yeah.
And when it's good for you, you believe in it,
Yep.
regardless of what somebody's touting over here.
Yep.
The product to be good for you.
And
And
you got
when you have,
confidence in it. You got
yeah,
confidence.
that confidence is what eventually is going to win you a tournament.
Yep.
Might not be this year, might not be this month, but get those confidence baits, whatever they are, those confident rods, those confident reels in the
Yep.
line, and stick with it, because your
Yep.
time's coming. You're gonna win.
Oh yeah.
You can't think it's gonna happen every time.
Right.
I'm 5 years in. I don't have any wins. So.
I'm good Lord. I'm 7 years in. I don't have either. I mean, I
I
got some
don't,
big
I
bass.
don't have
I
any
got some
wins.
big bass trophies. That's it. But I'm happy to have those.
Yeah. Oh, there's another one. If you don't fish Major League Fishing, go fish Big Bass Bash at Lake of the Ozarks and Grand Lake.
That is one of the funnest tournaments I've fished in the last 3 years. I went and fished with a buddy at Gunnersville, and there was like 1,000 something people in it. And I cashed a check, and he cashed a check, and then when we was going to weigh my fish in, his motor blew up, and
Yeah.
we got towed in, and then it still had 3 or 4 hours, and he's like, you know what, we're gonna troll around close to weigh in, outside the no fish. Almost cashed another check with no motor on a drop shot.
And without that experience, like
Yep.
you don't have this. And I'm sure that story is condensed into
Yeah, it is.
11 seconds,
It is.
but there's the details in those stories can probably last 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, it is. But it was a fun day. We had a blast. We cashed, both of us cashed checks, and we was both hooping and hollering, had a good day. But that is, I mean, because you can launch from any launch, and it's pretty cool how they. I mean, it's a lot less stress on that tournament. But that's the funnest tournament I've fished over the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, we were talking about Scott Knoll earlier,
Yep.
and I was out at Kentucky Lake with him and Pickwick Lake this year, and this last year I caught my personal best smallmouth, because I'm from the Midwest. They don't get real big here. We got maybe 3 and 4 pounders, maybe a 5 pounder in at the Table Rock, but mainly 3s and 4s. So I caught a 4.25 at Kentucky Lake with
Nice.
Scott, not during tournament day.
Yep.
But you talk about your hooping and hollering and you're high fiving.
Yep.
And those moments are just, that's why you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't know what that moment is going to be, but that's why you go. Is because
There's a chance. There's always a chance.
At every cast, you've got a chance of winning a tournament or having a story.
Oh yeah, or both.
and both are good.
Yeah.
The money's going to spend, so you're better off to have a story.
Yeah, exactly. And to share a moment with your buddy, it's like, man, you remember when that happened? Oh yeah, man, that was like best thing ever.
Yeah, So another one of my buddies down at Grand Lake, Brad, I about lost his hand to a turtle because I was trying to get a chatterbait back.
Yeah.
It was a very big turtle. Like his head was like this big.
Oh yeah.
And I said, man, I think, I'd like to have that chatterbait back if we can get it. He's like,
Yep.
he goes, man, I want to keep my fingers. And I was like, oh, I think you'll be all right.
Yep.
This turtle came out of the water 18 to 24 inches and almost got him.
Oh, that's close.
He was almost walking around, like a finger.
Captain Hook. He's going to be like Captain Hook.
Almost. And without those experiences, though, like you just don't, the days aren't the same.
No, it got to have them. Got to have them.
His co-angler won last week.
Oh, heck.
Yeah. He guided his co-angler to a win.
Sweet.
So those are, you never know what adventure you might win or you might lose your fingers. I mean, it's that exciting.
Or sink a boat.
Or 3 of them.
Ooh, you got me beat there. But hey man, we're an hour and a half. You want to thank any sponsors or anybody real quick?
Yeah, I just want to thank Jesus. I want to thank my wife. I want to thank my parents and all those guys that I've listed that have taken me under their wing and literally showed me the ropes, whether it be baits or how they do it or showing me their sonar. I mean, guys from Minnesota, Chris and Brady, and I put everybody's name down there, Chris Darby and Spencer and Ian Labus, and these guys, they don't have to show you anything.
Yeah.
They if they want to be secretive while they're fishing, they can do that too.
Oh yeah.
But they're willing to show you if you're willing to be a good partner in the back of the boat and kind of help them out throughout the day to where give them their best shot to win the tournament too. So that's my advice to everybody is give the boaters room, help him help you. Yeah.
Or do like the golden rule, treat him like you would like to be treated. That's how back in my mind, I'm thinking, hey, but yeah, stay positive and give respect and you'll get respect. Absolutely.
Yeah. And we'll do plug-in sponsors and selling stuff later. That's another day.
Oh yeah.
Just everybody go out and get in a tournament and go fishing because you're gonna come away with a friend or a story or some money. It's gonna be one of those 3 things.
Absolutely, I agree with that totally. But well, good deal, man. We're definitely gonna have to do this again, man. I've had a blast with you, and man, we're gonna have to do a show just on stories. I think me and you've got quite a few.
I think we got a lot.
Oh yeah, I got a lot.
and there's more coming this month and next month, and golly, we're gonna have a lot to talk about.
Absolutely. But,
well, John, you get well, buddy.
Absolutely, he'll be back soon, and I'll check on him. I always talk to him every day, and man, Brock, you brought it, man. You got some good juice, good stories, man. I enjoyed having you on, man. It was been looking forward for a long time, and we're definitely gonna do it again. I'm looking forward to it too. Thanks for having me on. Everybody, go out, get outside, go fishing, get into a tournament. And whether it's Major League Fishing or another tournament trail or a buddy trail or take a kid fishing, get them involved because the adventures, you don't even know how much fun you're about to have. Absolutely. But well, guys, I thank everybody for tuning in and giving us a like and share. And I said we'll have Brock on definitely in the near future, and we'll have some maybe share some fishing tales and stories, and that's gonna be a blast. I might take my preacher outfit off and share a couple things. Yeah, there you go. That's a lot of fun, man. That's one of the best parts right there. But anyway, yeah, John, we miss you, buddy, and I'll be talking to you soon. And for everybody out there, we appreciate y'all. And again, thanks, Brock, and have a good day, my friend. Thanks for watching, guys. Go fishing. Absolutely. Peace out. Bye-bye. All right, bye.